Now, of course, here in Australia, we do have around 1,300 different species of reptile, with around 93% of them being endemic. Endemic is just a fancy way of saying you can only find them here in Australia and nowhere else in the world. Placed in Australia, they're found in Western Australia in a very small niche called the Kimberleys. And that is the only place where they are found in the whole world. Now, they live in sandstone cliffs up to 100 feet in the sky, and that is why they were so hard to find. So we only did recently find them, and they are one of the coolest species of snake in my opinion. Now, she will go around for a little bit of a pat. When we are giving her a pat, just make sure we are patting her back and we don't put our fingers anywhere near her face, please. And unfortunately, a lot of people think that we only have those venomous snakes out in like the Northern Territory or in Queensland, but we do have quite a few here in New South Wales as well. Now, unfortunately, this snake does get confused for a lot of them. This is our black-headed python and a brown snake just because of that brown coloration. I've even heard that people call these inland taipans because they do have that black head. But this is a black-headed python and they are completely harmless to us humans. Now, she will go around for a little bit of a pat. Most venomous snake in the world. Now, how they do this, they do it by overpowering them. They are a very heavy-bodied, strong species of python. So what they'll do, they'll go up and just grab the inland taipan and start wrapping around it. Now, if they were to get bitten by the taipan, it would be nothing more than a mozzie bite. It might be a little bit irritating, but it isn't going to harm them whatsoever. Now, the reason it doesn't harm them is because they've been eating them for hundreds and hundreds of years, so they have slowly built up an immunity to that venom. Right here in Sydney, we do have quite a few. We have the eastern brown, which is the second most venomous. We have the tiger snake, which is 4th, the death adder, which is 8th, and the red belly, which is the 21st. So, I can almost guarantee you that snake is not going to bite you. Unfortunately, incidents do occur when people are handling or trying to kill the snake. But when it can be an accident is if you are walking and you get too close to the snake, you don't see it, and that snake doesn't see you, and all of a sudden you step on it, and it will turn around and retaliate in the only way that it knows how. Now, that's where one of these bandages come in very handy. As you can see, it is a compression bandage and they have rectangles on them. When you pull it to the correct amount of pressure, they turn into squares. That way, when you are wrapping your arm, you know how much pressure to put around that bite. Now, these are very good to have. Eastern brown bites can be very dangerous to people. There are people who have been bitten by an eastern brown and unfortunately passed away within 40 minutes. Now, these bandages are giving people up to 6 to 10 hours depending how well you use this bandage. So it gives you a lot of time to get to medical attention. So I highly recommend every single one of you guys do pick up one of these bandages, whether it's just keeping it in your car or keeping it in your bag when you are going for a walk. They are saving people's lives, so I highly recommend you get one. They are called SSS Safe Smart Bandages and they're good for snakes and funnel webs. I want everyone to guess what it is. Woo! Yeah. Yeah, so this is our American alligator. So they are not found here in Australia. They are the apex predator of Florida. We do have a piece of tape that we have made into a band. It's double-sided, so we're not taping his mouth shut. We make them individually for all of our alligators. That way, when everyone is having a pat, no one's fingers get a little bit too close to their teeth. So I'll put his band back on so he can go around for a little bit of a pat with everyone. You would not be able to see a single ripple on the surface. That is how well their back displaces that water. So they are absolutely amazing animals, but they do need to be respected. Here in Australia, our saltwater crocodiles, they are up through northern Queensland, the Northern Territory, and down into Western Australia a little bit. They are ambush predators. They can wait underwater for a very long time. Look at him. Now this here is Monster, and Monster is one of our beautiful Burmese pythons that we have here at Symbio. Now Burmese pythons, they are one of the largest species of python in the world, getting quite a bit bigger than this. But unfortunately they are now considered endangered. Now they are found over in Southeast Asia, and the reason they're endangered, there's a few reasons. One of them being deforestation, so their habitat being destroyed. Another one being they have natural predators like the king cobra that tend to eat them. But the main reason is boots, belts and bags. Unfortunately, their beautiful coloration and patterning, it is very common in the high-end fashion brand. So this has led them to be illegally hunted and poached for many years, causing their population to severely decrease. Now, on the other side of the planet, they are now considered an invasive species. So around 10 years ago, there was a guy in Florida who thought it was a good idea to illegally breed them. He had around 100 in his facilities. A tornado came through, tore his facilities down, released 100 Burmese pythons into the Florida Everglades. Now, 5 years later, they decided to do a survey and count the population. They stopped counting when they hit 500,000 Burmese pythons in the Florida Everglades. So their population absolutely exploded.
So heavy.
She is a little bit heavy.
What's her name?
Her name's Monster.
Awesome to have in our backyards. They'll be eating our snails, all the slugs, as well as taking a few greens from our gardens. But they are definitely worth keeping around because